G'day guys, how's it going? I'm Aza Whitnall, this is Aza World Sport, and week 6 of the Premier League saw some absolute hammerings for certain teams and some rather embarrassing defending. Now there's only one place to start, and that was the big game of the weekend, Arsenal versus Chelsea, and wow how Arsenal put Chelsea to the sword. I mean, I know in recent years Arsenal have always struggled against the bigger teams, but I mean, I do not know what has happened to Chelsea over the last, since they became Premier League champions in 2015. It's actually quite a scary thought that it was only last year that they were Premier League champions, like in terms of 2015. It is mind-blowing when you see the way they're playing at the moment. I mean, that defence looks so shaky with Cahill and Luis at the back, and Arsenal ripped them to pieces. And who knows, Arsenal, I mean, since their opening day defeat, they're really taking on some stride here. Maybe this is a season for Arsenal. 20 years since Wenger took over. I mean, Alexis Sanchez, I mean, he is world class. There's no way around it now. The effort he puts in, the way that he finishes, he just brings an extra quality to Arsenal that I think they've lacked in recent years. And I think playing up front is working really well because it brings people like Iwobi into the game, as well as people like Ozil and Walcott and Cazorla and all that, so much more. And the fact he's a better finisher than I think anyone else in the team. I mean, it's exciting for Arsenal in that sense. But Chelsea, yeah, the last 2 games against the big teams, it has not been good. And something really needs to change because, I mean, I'm kind of worried at the moment. I mean, I had Chelsea picked for top 3, to be honest with you, in my predictions for the season. Just because I looked at the fact they didn't have Champions League football. Conte is a quality manager. I thought they bought some fairly decent players in the summer, Luis aside. But, yeah, I mean, this is not good. So I think that whole game they've got next week couldn't come quick enough, to be honest with you, because I think they need to play a team that are lower down in the Premier League to hopefully get a win and build some confidence back up again. But yeah, not good from Chelsea at all. But hey, great win for Arsenal. Manchester United back with a bang, absolutely destroyed the champions Leicester, 4-1 at Old Trafford, scoring 3 goals in 5 minutes and scoring 3 of their goals from corners. So Leicester have got some training to do when it comes to defending corners because, wow, that was disappointing. We saw Paul Pogba get off the mark with a thunderous header. Marcus Rashford on the score sheet again. Daley Blind getting 3 assists. He's got more assists than Ozil so far this season. What? So yeah, good day for Manchester United. It kind of felt like the Man United of old a little bit watching them. Leicester, I don't know what's happening. I mean, I always say winning the title for the first time isn't the hardest thing you can do. Defending a title is the hardest thing you can do because you've got to keep players motivated. And Leicester appear to have some issues with keeping certain players motivated because, yeah, I mean, to see them conceding 4 goals so commonly, you know, the Liverpool game as well, this isn't good. They've already lost the same amount of games that they'd lost in the whole of last season. So, you know, something needs to change at Leicester, but not a good performance at all from them. I think from a Man United standpoint, obviously the big talking point is the fact that Jose Mourinho left Wayne Rooney on the bench. I think it was the right decision because Rooney hasn't been in good form. And I think it's good to see a manager who is actually willing to take Rooney out of the spotlight and give him a bit of a rest and, you know, give him a bit of a kick up the arse. Because, you know, giving Mata and Pogba that freedom with Herrera, who looks perfect for sitting behind them. If it's not him, then Carrick, as I've said. But Herrera does look perfect because it just gives them free rein and it's brilliant. You know, United tore Leicester apart. I mean, Mata's goal, the way they all linked up was amazing. And you can't keep Rashford out the side. And I think aside from Luke Shaw missing and Anthony Martial missing, I think that is United's strongest team with Rooney out of it at the moment. So, yeah, interesting one. But you'll have to let me know what you think of that in your comments below. We also saw a massive win for Liverpool, who every week they're looking more and more deadly. I wouldn't want to be playing them. And for me, Liverpool are my dark horses for the Premier League title, just off the way they've started. They look fantastic. The football they're playing is brilliant. Klopp seems to have everyone so motivated. He's bringing the best out of players. Lallana looks unplayable at the moment. Sane has just started with, you know, perfection in terms of his Liverpool career. Coutinho's absolute thunderbolt. And, of course, James Milner, you know, he's Mr. Consistent and he brings a perfect balance to Liverpool in that sense. So, yeah, they're looking deadly. Hull, obviously, after a great start, They've had a few defeats now. It's going to be a difficult rest of the season for them. I think it's a relegation battle for them, but it could be worse. I know that this was an absolute tonking, but I think Hull fans have got to kind of half expect that results like this are going to happen throughout the season because of difficulties you've had through the summer and the lack of squad that you have. I do think you guys can pick up some results against some of the lower ranked teams in the Premier League, but against the big teams, especially when they're on form like Liverpool were, it's going to be tough to not concede 3, 4, 5 goals a game. But that's just my opinion. I'm sorry. But yeah, absolutely hammering. And I just hope Hull do manage to kind of turn it around and get a few results moving forward, because they did start very well and started surprising people. Manchester City keeping up this amazing unbeaten record, winning every game so far this season. And they look so deadly, don't they? Sterling, Pep's brought the best out of him. His goal was beautifully taken, the way that he took on the defender and just slotted it past the goalkeeper. Aguero, I think he's already in double figures for the season. I wonder how many goals he can get this year. It's going to be exciting. If he can stay fit all year as well, it's going to be exciting to see if he can get his best ever total at Manchester City, because I think if he does, that also speaks volumes for what Pep Guardiola does as a manager as well. So, good times for Manchester City. The ball keeps rolling in that sense, and on to the next week. But at the moment, I can't really see who's going to stop them. It's quite scary how well they're playing. Tottenham might next week, because Tottenham have been playing brilliantly. And speaking of Tottenham, they picked up a great 2-1 win at Middlesbrough. And Son, wow, is he on fire so far this season. He's come back with determination. And at the moment, you can't keep him out of the team. And this is what I mean. He's had that season to settle in now. He knows exactly what the Premier League's all about. Yeah, he's struggled, but players do sometimes. But wow, I mean, he's only 24. He's still a young player. It's amazing to see that he started this well, and hopefully he can carry on, because it would be great to see someone come in and have a greater impact than someone like Park Ji-sung did in the Premier League, because Fergie used him in a lot of the big games, and he was a great Premier League player. And I think a lot of the managers would tell you that as well, because of how he performed in the big games. But to have another Asian import like Son in the Premier League, if he can score more goals than what Park did, then hey, could be the greatest Asian player that we've seen in the Premier League so far. So, I hope Son continues this run, and hopefully Tottenham continue to get the results, because it's going to make it very, very interesting at the top of the table, with Man United now kind of back into winning ways after obviously a bit of a interesting last few weeks. Man City destroying it, Liverpool just running rampant, and now Tottenham and Arsenal. There's 5 teams there that are really in contention. Chelsea can be back up there. They just need to sort themselves out. But, interesting at the top of the table. Sunderland, wow, they just seem doomed, don't they? I mean, to be 2-0 up with 25 minutes to go and throw the game away like that. I mean, the third goal that Crystal Palace scored was embarrassing for anyone watching that. Of all the players to leave free and give a run-up to head the ball, you let Christian Benteke, one of the best headers of the ball, attack it like that. It was a joke. And, I mean, if I was David Moyes, I'd be... that shouldn't ever happen. I'm not going to say he should rip into his players. That should just never happen. That's also from his standpoint as well. Surely, like any of the fans would tell you, the one person you want to mark from corners for Crystal Palace is Benteke. You left him unmarked and you let him have a run-up. It's embarrassing. And if they're going to keep defending like that, there's only one way they're going to go, and that's down, because they're going to get relegated. It's as simple as that. So, yeah. I mean, great win for Palace. Really, Pardews turning it around. You can see his signings are working. And it's going to be interesting to see where Palace go, like I said last week, Even being 2-0 down, to come back and get a win like that, great. Absolutely great. Keeping things dramatic for all of us fans as well. So, hey, great times. West Ham. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What is going on with you? 3-0 home to Southampton. Come on. I mean, I know that the move to the London Stadium has been difficult, but wow. I mean, could things get any worse right now? I mean, this is Southampton, who have struggled up until the last week or so this season. So, yeah, what a shock. I mean, I'm kind of lost for words on how to describe West Ham this week, really, because it was such a bad performance. I mean, on the bright side, for Southampton, I'm really happy. It's great to see Charlie Austin scoring. and getting starts because he's English and I knew he had this quality in him. So if he carries this on, great. Let's see if he makes his way into the England squad potentially. You know, if he keeps on scoring like this, you can't deny him. I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but, you know, it's all good. He's English, he's scoring goals. It's a good thing. Can't do any worse than the England squad did at the Euros. But, yeah, I mean, I worry for Bilic because I really think he's a good manager, but something's just not working at West Ham at the moment, and I do hope he can turn that around. But, yeah, not a good result in that sense. I want to play a bit of praise to Tony Pulis. It's 1,000 games in charge that he's now had in football for various different clubs. And as much as his style of play may get criticism, he's a good manager. I mean, if you're ever in a relegation battle, he's the man you want, along with Sam Allardyce. But he is the man that you want because, you know, he's never been relegated and he seems to bring clubs together. And I know that things can be difficult sometimes with him in terms of the players that he signs or the way that he plays. But he's consistent and you never have to worry about your club struggling through a season where you're going to get relegated because you're not going to, you know. And maybe the next level for him, if he can attract those kinds of players, is to get teams to consistently finish in the top half of the Premier League. But he's a quality manager, you can't deny it. And, you know, it's a great achievement that he's reached 1,000 games. And everyone says the same thing about him in the profession, that he's just a lovely person. So, you know, it's great to see someone like that doing so well with their career and reaching such a landmark. So, you know, congratulations to Tony Pulis. His team got a 1-1 draw at his former club Stoke, who themselves are struggling awfully. It's a shame because they've got a great squad. Again, it kind of feel the same for Mark Hughes as I do for Slaven Bilic. I hope that their clubs don't push the panic button and sack them because I do feel both of them can turn it around. Stoke have got quality players. I still think they can finish in the top half of the Premier League. They just need something to, you know, really get them going. Next week they play Man United at Old Trafford. I don't think they'll win, but I mean, hey, if they do, you know, you can see it being like a 1-0 or something like that. Man United playing really well, and you know, after all the bad luck Stoke have had, they pull out a 1-0 win, then, you know, that could be the perfect launch pad. But if not, it's going to go the other way. And, you know, the way that United played against Leicester, I do worry for Stoke next week. But in the coming weeks, with some of the fixtures that are coming up, I do hope they can get a result somewhere and that can really kick off their season in that sense. We also saw Burnley beat Watford. I mean, Watford just struggling for inconsistency, to be honest. It's disappointing when they've done so well in recent weeks, and obviously that's the situation they need to address. You can't go and beat teams like Man United and then lose to teams like Burnley. On the flip side, though, with Burnley, it's a great result, you know, after some tough weeks they've had in the past few. You know, they got demolished by Chelsea, and it was a very easy win for Chelsea. Then they drew with Hull, and now this win. It's, you know, it's a good result for them, and you know, if they can turn Turf Moor into a bit of a fortress this season, then I think that's their best chance of staying up. So, you know, good solid win for Burnley. And then finally, a bit of a shock. We saw Bournemouth beat Everton 1-0, especially with the form Everton have been in. You wouldn't have expected that result. But, you know, great result for Bournemouth. And I'm going to be interested to see if they can get, how high they can get in the Premier League this season. Eddie Howe, I think, is a great manager. I really hope that one day he gets an opportunity to manage England, because I think he's built something very special down at Bournemouth. And, you know, I would love to see them finish in the top half of the table this year. I think that's probably a bit optimistic, but I just think they're a very nicely run club. They've got some good players. They've got a great manager. And, yeah, from a football fan's perspective, it's great to see a club like that in the Premier League, really, that you don't really have anything bad to say about them in terms of how the club's run or, you know, the morals of the club or anything like that. So, you know, good for them. Everton, if they're going to challenge for the top four or Europe, then they need to sort out these consistency issues because they shouldn't be losing to teams like Bournemouth with the players they have and the way that they've been playing in recent weeks. But, I mean, hey, it's early in the season, so they've got plenty of time to address those. But, yeah, not good from that perspective. But that pretty much sums up all of the results from the Premier League this weekend. Week 6 of the Premier League. As I said, there were some thrashings in there. A few talking points, nothing too OTT, though. And next week we've got some big games in the shape of Manchester City versus Tottenham to look forward to. So let me know what you guys think from the Premier League weekend that's just gone. What were your major talking points? What games did you enjoy watching? And what games and talking points do you feel we're going to be seeing over the coming weeks? Comment below, let me know. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe to Aza World TV for all things wildlife, adventure and sport. I'm Aza Whitnall, and I will see you guys again soon.